Hey everybody, it's Candace with Be Your Own You. Whoop, whoop! Our mission is to empower girls of all ages to love themselves for exactly who they are and to celebrate the differences that make them unique. Yes, honey boo-boo, you are unique, you are worthy, you are beautiful, and you are valuable. So do not forget it and do not let anybody tell you otherwise. So with that said, welcome to our Inspirational Interview Series designed to inspire, motivate, and change lives. We are interviewing anybody and everybody who has a story or message to share because you have a voice. Yes, you have a voice. And together we can inspire and empower. So welcome and be empowered. So today I'll be interviewing a lovely, amazing woman. Her story is absolutely incredible. It's so crazy. She's gone through so much, wave after wave, but she wrote it out. She's here loving herself, being confident, and spreading inspirational vibes into the world. So I really want you guys to get to know her story and just see how she overcame depression, how she overcame the battle of self-love, and how she kind of got out of this big hole and came out on top. So without further ado, please welcome the lovely Trey.
Hello.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing great. It's Thursday. You know, it's closer to the weekend. I always love that.
I know. Oh God, especially when Friday. Oh yes.
Yes. What do you do? Or do you work? Are you in school or?
Well, I graduated a couple of years ago. So what I am right now is actually looking for work because I do a lot of work. I have a criminal justice degree, which is great because that's what I'm interested in. So yes, I have my bachelor's in criminal justice.
I was just telling my boyfriend how I love criminal justice. I was like, if I didn't, I only went to school for a year, but went for psychology. I was like, if I didn't do that, I would do criminal justice. He was like, really? I'm like, yeah, I love that. It really intrigues me. It's very interesting.
Yes, it was so interesting. The classes, everything makes you think about different scenarios. It was just so interesting. I loved it.
I bet. That's exciting. Well, we're just going to kind of hop right into it. So
I heard that one.
I know. It's going to be so loud when I go edit this. So I'm going to redo that. So I'm going to get right into it.
Okay.
Before I get into my questions, I'd like for you to share maybe like a little background about who you are, what you do, what your passion is, anything about that so the viewers can get a feel for who Trey is.
Okay, well, perfect. Well, I'm 20 years old. I live in New Jersey. I am obviously Hispanic. I'm Puerto Rican and Mexican. Yes, yes. And my passion right now is health, fitness. I started getting into fitness about, I want to say it's been over a year ago. I started getting a lot of health problems. I have an autoimmune disease, and which basically saying that my own body kind of turned against me, and I'm allergic to so many things. So I'm always breaking out in hives. I'm not allergic to any food in particular, but honestly, trees, pollen, grass, cats, you name it, I'm allergic. So I'm always breaking out in hives constantly. I landed in the hospital over a year ago, and then from there I've been to specialists, different doctors. Now just recently I was diagnosed with cervical dysplasia, and I've been going through that, and I got my results back, and thank God they told me I don't have any cancer, so I'm good there. But it's just fueled my fitness journey so much more. So I started my YouTube channel. I started my Instagram page because of that, and I just wanted to spread so much positivity and love to anyone who's going through anything, especially in a fitness journey, you know?
Yeah, I actually was watching a few of your videos, so I'm going to touch on that because I love your channel. I'm going to share her link below, guys, so please follow her and watch her videos because they are super inspiring. So when you went to the hospital, is that what really like geared you to hop on that fitness journey, or were you already kind of on that path?
Well, I feel like with any journey, you kind of tell yourself, okay, I'm going to do it. But until something really motivates you is when you kind of spark that fire under you.
Yeah.
So I had already started in my head. I was like, okay, I'm going to do this. And, you know, I feel like when you want to lose weight and you're on a fitness journey, you're always kind of like, okay, well, I'll start Monday or I'll start tomorrow. And I was like that all the time. And I've had problems with hives since I was, I think I want to say I was around 20 years old when it started. but I never knew what happened. I never knew what was going on with me. I just thought it was maybe some kind of allergic reaction until I started going to the specialist, and they told me, like, you have an autoimmune disease, you have to lose weight. And I have to say that I was overweight at the time, but to me, it was kind of like, I didn't see myself like that. I thought I was okay. I mean, yeah, I gained a few pounds, but to me, it wasn't anything serious. And the doctor was like, no, you have to lose weight. That's the only way it's going to work out. You have to be healthy. You have to eat healthy. So that just sparked it. And then it just ran off from there.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah.
So just to kind of get a little personal, were you unhealthy, or were you kind of just like, yeah, you know, I'm pretty healthy, I could be healthier? Or what did you have to really change, like, on your diet? Because I'm pretty curious for myself, because I'm trying to get into that, because I played basketball my whole life, and then I stopped cold. So I'm actually, you might not be able to tell, but I'm the biggest I've ever been. And I'm in that cycle where it's like, oh, I'm going to start tomorrow. Oh, I'm going to start next week. But I'm trying to, like, get that fire and get that spark to really start. I know there's probably some out there who are going through that same problem.
Yes, of course. Let's see. When I was in my teen years, I was always a skinny mini. I was just like this. Like, I could eat anything and not gain weight. And granted, in high school, I was really, really stressed out, and I would eat, but I wasn't gaining weight. So I thought I was fine. Going into my college years, I was stressed out. I had paper after paper after paper due. And in the location where I went to college, it was right in the city. So I had a cafeteria in one corner. I had BK in one corner. I had cafes. I had everything. You mentioned it. I had every type of restaurant all around me. So me and my friends were always going to all these places to eat in between classes. I had late night classes, so I was tired. I was hungry. So I was just stuffing myself at any time just to keep going. That's how it started. That's how I started gaining weight. And to me, once again, I thought, okay, I had gained a few pounds, but it wasn't anything serious until the doctor was like, no, honey, you have to lose weight. That was like, okay. I didn't know, like, other people saw that, but I didn't see it.
Yeah. You and I are the same, because that's how I was in high school. I was a little twig. I can eat anything. And I remember friends being like, girl, like, how are you still eating? I'm like, I'm hungry. And yeah, that's true. When some go to college, that stress hits, and that's like, you don't have those home cooked meals. I didn't have those home cooked meals. Okay, yeah. So that's just interesting. That's crazy that, like, you kind of went through that, and then it's like, okay, now you're on this journey. But to kind of go back, I'm going to share out your bio. If it's too personal, just let me know and I will stop.
No, don't worry. Go ahead.
So your bio that you sent me was all about depression. Kind of not all about, but the big part of it was depression, how you overcame it, what caused it. So I just want to ask you, like, what does depression look like for you? How did it manifest?
Oh, depression for me was horrible. I feel like that's the only word that comes to mind. It was horrible. It started when I was 9 years old. And it's crazy to think that, because you're like 9 years old. You don't even know what depression is at 9. And it's true. I had no idea. I had so much anxiety. I was sad. I was eating. I was like in the corner biting my nails. And I had such a bad habit of biting my nails throughout my whole life since I was 9 years old. And then I got older and I started to learn that that was a form of anxiety. And I think back to when it started, and I was 9. And I could specifically remember when I started to bite my nails. And it was at 9 years old when a friend of my brother's had sexually touched me. And that's how it started.
You were 9 years old when he sexually touched?
I was 9 years old.
Wow.
I was 9 years old when it happened. It's like when you're 9, you don't even know what that is. You don't know, like, your mind doesn't know how to process it.
Yeah.
Like, what's happening. You just know that something bad happened. But you don't know what it is. You don't know how to describe it. You don't know who to talk to. You're 9 years old. You're a little baby.
Yeah, that's like traumatic.
Yeah, it's very traumatic. So I was 9 years old. That's when it started. And I feel like it developed until I got older in my 20s. And it just, like, it went full blown.
So did you realize in your 20s, oh yeah, I was depressed since the age of 9, or that's when it started? Or
to me, I felt like it had to do with it. Just because of everything that I've been through with my stepfather, with all the abuse that we were going through. I just felt like everything kind of played a part. Mm-hmm. So to me, it was kind of like, I don't know when it started. Maybe it was, maybe it wasn't. But to me, at 9 years old, I feel like that's what escalated it. that what in my mind is kind of engraved in there as to when it really started. So to me, it definitely started at that age.
Can you share a little bit about your stepfather, about the abuse, just with the viewers, so who are watching this? Because I'm sure there's some who are in that situation or have been through that. And that's why Trey is here, you guys. Not only did she reach out to be interviewed, but her story is just, to me, amazing. So many incidents happened in her life, like wave after wave, and she wrote it out, and here she's on top. So I just want you to share kind of those waves.
Of course. My mother was married to my stepfather for 25 years, and he previously was in the Army, so he did suffer from PTSD. To this day, if you would ask him, like, well, what did you do in the Army? What did you see? He won't tell you. It was a lot of top secret work. So whatever he did go through really messed up his mind. So he had severe PTSD. He was bipolar. I'm pretty sure he had other mental disorders, but those are the two that I knew of. And his way of coping with it was alcohol. It was alcohol, drugs, women, and obviously it played a part in his marriage. So when he would come home, his way of dealing with his problems was yelling at us. There was a lot of things that happened behind closed doors between him and my mother that I didn't come to find out till later. So, for example, she told me of one day when I guess they were arguing, or he came home drunk, and he, I guess, was fighting with her. And I don't know if he tried to strangle her, but she was so afraid for her life. So she slept that whole night in the bathtub, in the bathroom.
Wow.
And I was like, where was I? Like, I was around, but I never saw that until she told me. Yeah. There were things that I figured out later, but he was coming home. He would be yelling at us. He would get mad at the smallest things. You were just always on your toes. I remember hearing him unlock the gate where they would park their cars, and I could hear it, and I would know it was him. It was just like something in my head clicked, and I knew it was him. So we would scramble to make sure everything was okay, that there was nothing that would make him mad. So it was just always just being on your toes, being ready, just being, you never knew who was going to come home happy, if he was going to come home mad, if he was coming home sad. Like, it was just never a good thing, you know? So it was just never good. And it was sad because to me, that was my dad. That was the only dad I ever known. You know, that was my stepfather. At the moment, I didn't know who my biological father was. So to me, this man was my dad. I've known him all my life. So just to see the way that he treated us, treated my mother, it was sad. It was sad. And we would go to church. We grew up Christian. We would go to church. My brother would go to church. My sisters would go to church. We would all go. So it was my comfort to get away from my home, because we never went out. We were always home. We didn't do much. He would once in a while take us out, but we were basically just home all the time. Like, we were always grounded, basically.
Oh, wow.
And he would go out. He would, whatever money he would bring home from work, whatever little bit he would bring home from work, it was never enough, because he was always drinking at the bar. He was always, I'm guessing, buying his drugs. He was always wasting his money on other women. And it was a wife and 4 kids to support. So my mother actually got a job at a paint factory. She works there till this day, and it is heavy work. She is the only woman in her line of work. The rest of them are males. And she's lasted there for, I think it's already been more than 15 years. So if it wasn't for my mother, honestly, I don't know where we would be. We would most likely be on the streets, I guess living off the government, because it was that bad. She was married to him, but she was just a single mother, like her whole marriage. And to raise 4 kids on your own was hard as it is. Like, as hard as it is, but 4 kids.
Yeah.
It's just unheard of, So, I mean, honestly, I owe everything to her. So, I treat her amazing because we owe everything to her.
Yeah. Moms are amazing, especially the mom that you have. She sounds like a superwoman. Do you have any advice before I ask that question, when you talked about your dad, you kind of shared how he had PTSD, and that's kind of big to share that, because it sounds like, I'm not saying you're defending him whatsoever, but you kind of had the understanding, like, it was alcoholism. Like, do you have a relationship with him now or no?
No, I tried to have a relationship with him after him and my mom separated. And it was kind of like, I know what this man did. I know the way that he abused us emotionally, mentally, my mother physically. But in me, it was like, he's human.
Yeah.
And whatever emotions, whatever incidents have happened to his life to make him like this, I wanted to understand him and I wanted to give him a chance, as crazy as that sounds, because that's just the kind of person that I am. And I tried giving him a chance. I tried reconnecting with him, but in doing that, I kind of saw for myself that he wasn't changing, that he was still there. And it's kind of like, if you give another person a chance to kind of prove to you, like, hey, I am changing, I really am taking this into consideration, and I want to change and I want to show you, okay, that's all good, but the actions have to be there. And it just wasn't there. So I just chose to not have a relationship with him.
Yeah. Well, see, that in itself is amazing because you did care. It shows you did care. You had love, and you knew he had problems, and you saw that. It wasn't like, oh, I hate this person, and you didn't care what caused it. Because I think that helps, at least for me, depression or to overcome things when you know that it's not you, that it's the person and what has caused them. If they're not changing, then you can close that door.
Yeah.
But I think and the reason I touch on that because my dad raised my sisters, and their dad wasn't the best dad, and it was due to alcoholism, drugs. And I think when you really see that, like, hey, that's not my dad, it's the choices he's making, like, he is human. I think that kind of helps you, like, I can step back and I know I did what I could do. I can love from a distance, and it's not me. So I think that's important for, at least as children, to know, like, no, you're not the problem.
Exactly. Because it's like, being a child and seeing that form of abuse, you kind of think to yourself, like, I don't know, am I good enough? Like, what am I doing that my father doesn't love me? Or what am I doing that my mother doesn't love me? And you're a child. You just expect your parents to love you, to take care of you. So growing up, I feel like I never had a childhood. I was always expected to be an adult. Like, not because, they forced me to, it's just that's the way life worked out. And so I really can't say I never felt like I really had a childhood. And there were things that I shouldn't have seen. There were things that maybe I shouldn't have learned on early in life, but I did. And in a weird way, it's kind of made me the person that I am today. And if I could change it, honestly, I don't know if I would, because I feel like I'm an amazing person. I have a great heart. I see the best in people because I've seen the worst.
Yeah, that's amazing. And that's why I love the struggles. Even though they're hard, they do shape us into who we are.
Yeah.
And so thank you for sharing that. Now we're going to talk about loving yourself.
Okay.
You're doing the self-love. Because I watched one of your YouTube videos on self-love. I'll also share that video, you guys, so you can watch that video because that's one of my favorites that I've seen so far from you. So with all of, like, so far what you've shared, it's kind of crazy, that you do think, like, why am I not worthy? Why doesn't, my father love me or show love in this way? So what made you realize that you didn't love yourself?
Well, I feel like with gaining the weight that I had, I felt like I was always questioning, like, why do I look this way? Why am I comparing myself to other women? Why in my previous relationships, why am I comparing myself to people that they dated before? Why do I feel like I'm not good enough for these people? It was always just questioning myself, always, to the point where not that anyone was saying anything negative to me or about me. It was me judging myself so harshly. Like, people can say whatever they want to say, but at the end of the day, I was the one who was breaking myself down. And when my friends would notice that, that's when it hit me. It was like, wow, like, I didn't know that people see that I'm talking so negatively about myself, that I'm putting myself down, because nobody else was putting me down. It was just me. And it was such a realization, such a eye-opening when I saw that other people outside of myself could see that I was treating myself like just horribly.
Yeah.
And it just opened your eyes to see, wow, like, I really need to love myself because this is just getting ridiculous.
Yeah. It's really inspiring to hear how you kind of have these epiphanies. Like, I think it's rare for some of us to go through that, or you kind of are exposed, or it could be like your friends like, no, you're beautiful. What are you talking about? No, you're worthy. Like, or you know, and it's like, you don't feel that. It's
Exactly.
like we have these people and family, people who love us in our ear telling us these things, but we just brush it off.
Exactly. Because that's what happens though. You know, your mother can tell you, your sister can tell you, your boyfriend can tell you. But at the end of the day, if you don't believe it, it's going to be like, yeah, but you're just forced to say that because you're my boyfriend or because you're my husband or because you're my mom. You don't believe it at all. So it all starts from in here.
Mental. Yeah. So how did you start that journey to self-love then? Like what changed to kind of be like, okay, I'm aware that I don't feel beautiful, that I don't love myself. What can I do to change this?
It would have to be when I had broken up with my boyfriend. And it wasn't so much that our relationship was the main problem. We had problems because no relationship is perfect, but it was just a mix of so many things. I feel like I was going through a bout of depression and I hadn't realized it. I didn't see the symptoms. I didn't see that it was crawling up again. And so I ended up breaking up with my boyfriend. And then I wasn't going to school at that time. I had stopped going to college just because for financial reasons. So I was working full time. And I just saw that I was making choices left and right that were hurting me so badly. But it was like I was seeing my life play out and I just didn't have control over it. And he saw that, my friends saw that, my family saw that. I was crying non-stop. I was crying and it was just so weird because no matter what I did, I couldn't stop. I felt so bad. I was in such a horrible place. Like I can't even describe to you all the negative feelings that I was going through. It was horrible. And it just got to the point where I was dating. I started dating again. But I was not making the best choices in men. These were like scums. I can tell you that I was dating like really bad people. And I was hiding it because I didn't want anyone to give me their honest opinion. So my friends didn't know who I was dating. I didn't want to hear like, well, he's not treating you right. And why are you going out with this guy? And he's not good. I just didn't want to hear anything from anyone. So it got to the point where I was hiding things from people. I was hiding things from my best friend. One of my really, really best friends, she actually stopped being friends with me because she couldn't handle how bad my depression was taking a toll on me. And to this day, I can think back about it and I don't even blame her because it was really bad. It was bad. I had started drinking and a lot of people didn't know that. It was kind of like, oh, well, you know, she drinks on the casual if we have a party, but people didn't know that I was starting to do it at home. And my parents, they weren't around. That was around the time that here in Jersey, we had Hurricane Sandy. So my mom's job got flooded because her job is right by the river. And it got completely flooded. Like water went up the whole first floor. It was horrible. So because the factory was not working at the moment because everything was underwater, so she got transferred to upstate New York. So I was here by myself with my little sister. I had no one to kind of tell me, hey, you know, something's going on. What is it? So I had no control. No one saw what I was doing. I was doing it on the down low. And it was easier to, you know, to kind of get away with things. And it just got to the point where I found myself in the bathroom on the floor. And what people don't know is that when I was younger, when I felt like I didn't have an outlet to express myself, so I would get so frustrated and I didn't want to cry. So what I would do is that I would take a fork and I would scratch my thighs.
Wow.
And that was my form of like handling all the emotions because my stepfather, he didn't like for us to cry. And if we would cry, he would be like, if you're going to cry, I'm going to give you something to cry about. So I learned to not cry, to be tough, and just keep it all in. And when I was going through my depression, I got tired of crying. It was like there was nothing else for me to do. There was no outlet. There was just nothing. I felt horrible. I felt like I was just spinning out of control. So I started doing that, and no one knew. And I thought to myself, there was just one day when I was like, I can't do this anymore. I can't live like this anymore. I'm tired. My heart is tired. My soul is tired. My mind, my body, everything. I'm just tired. Yeah. And it crossed my mind, like when people go through horrible depressions and they think about suicide. And it got real. It got real quick. And at the end of the day, I thought, you know what? No one can save me. No one. My parents can't save me. My siblings can't save me. My friend, no one can save me. I'm drowning and no one has any idea what to do. So I started talking to my school counselor at college, and she was like my guardian angel. She helped me so much to overcome my depression. We talked about my childhood, everything that I've been through, my relationship problems, and it was just like, it was amazing. It was like a light at the end of the tunnel.
Wow. So you going to the counselor was your guardian angel. Mm-hmm. So basically, would you tell someone battling depression to go seek a counselor or go seek someone that can help you get through it?
Yes, definitely. Because you think to yourself, well, it's not that bad. I might be sad. I might be crying every once in a while, but why do I need to go see someone? People think that just because they go see a psychiatrist, a psychologist, a counselor, that something is wrong with them. And I feel it's the fact that you have to accept out loud that you do have a problem and that you need help. But there's nothing wrong with that. I think people always want to keep it a secret, like there's shame behind it. And I just want people to know that there's nothing wrong with you. There's nothing wrong. And there's nothing wrong with crying out for help, asking someone, listen, I don't know what to do anymore. I'm sad all the time. I'm crying. I'm eating. I can't stop eating. Or I've stopped eating and I can't eat. I'm losing all this weight. Like, I need help. There's nothing wrong with that.
Your journey to self-love is amazing.
Oh, thank you.
Is it okay if I tell our viewers to reach out to you if they need to vent or talk to you?
Yes, of course. Yes.
Because, okay, another question. You sent me a bio. Am I allowed to share that?
Yes, of course. Go ahead.
Okay, I'm going to post that on our blog because anyone who wants to hear more in depth about her story, go watch or go read that, watch this, obviously. And then if you want any advice or to hear more from her side, go ahead and message her because it's truly inspiring. Like I said, like if you read that bio, there's just so much more that we didn't touch right now. That's just like crazy. And for me, I didn't really I didn't really have much, like a lot of tragedies growing up. Like, yeah, I have my own battles, but nothing compared to yours. And that's why, like, reading it, I'm like, wow, like, okay, girl, I can't feel sorry. I can't get in get in my moods. I need to push through it, start loving like myself and to all of you guys. So it's just amazing. Like, I just can't express how I feel about you. Like, I don't know what it is about you. I just read it and I was just like, oh my gosh, the world needs to hear this. So we're actually going over time, but I just a couple more questions and then we're going to finish it up because
great.
I have a couple more.
Okay.
You were in a relationship and you mentioned in your Love Yourself video, like you said, you define how someone treats you. Mm-hmm. So my question is, how do you define how someone treats you? Like, because I think that is true. We define how someone treats us.
Okay. For me, personally, when it comes to my friendships, it's not always about relationships. It can also happen in friendships and obviously in your relationship or your families. I've had people or I've had friends who would talk down to me. And I had one particular friend who I've known her all my life. We grew up together. We went to school together. We did everything. We were best friends. We were like sisters. And people would always tell me that it wasn't the healthiest friendship. And I never understood why. I was like, why? Like, we're like sisters. We have an amazing relationship. And it got to the point where she would always be saying negative things to me. And I never noticed. I thought it was just her joking, So it was kind of like, oh, it's okay. That's just how she is. Like, I was always making excuses. And that was my thing. I was always making excuses for everyone. Until I took a step back and I'm like, wow, that just wasn't the healthiest thing for me. Like, I have to define how people treat me. So if I want others to respect me, I have to respect myself. And if I want others to love me, I have to love myself first. So that's how it started. I had to define those parameters for myself and then telling people, hey, you know what? I'm not going to allow that. So we're either going to change this up, let it be a healthy, positive relationship, or there's a door.
Yeah. I think when you get on that journey to self-love, you get rid of those toxic relationships, friendships, because you like I said, you realize those boundaries and you're like, no, that's not okay that you treat me like that or you say this to me. And I've had that same thing. I had a friend like that in high school whose same thing, like, would kind of, it would point out any flaw I had. And, but I'd be like, oh, like laugh, or I would defend it. I'm like, no, like, that's just how we talk to each other. Like,
Yes,
I never did
exactly.
that to her. But yeah, I think when you truly love yourself, I'm gonna admit, in where I am right now, I don't truly love myself. And that's because I went from being the skinny girl to gaining weight to now figuring out, but I'm on that journey to gain that self-love back and self-confidence.
Yes.
So, and that's where you realize, okay, this is not how I'm going to be treated. I'm going to surround myself around positive friends, uplifting, empowering friends around this circle.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's just, you have to find that out for yourself, because it's easy for people to be like, listen, you have to love yourself. Listen, you have to be a little bit more positive. But you have to get to that point where you're tired. You're tired of people treating you like this. You're tired of feeling like this. You're just tired. And you will get to that point, and just something in your head it just turns on. It's like, you know what? That's it. We're starting over. We're starting fresh. I'm doing this for me.
Yeah. And to say too, you're not going to love yourself overnight.
Oh, no.
It's a journey. It really is a journey, as you can hear from Trey. She went on this journey to overcome depression. She went on this journey to self-love, and now you're on this fitness journey, which is amazing.
Yes.
I love that. And you're using your voice to inspire and empower others.
Yes.
So it's amazing. So that's why I think I really resonate, and I really love hearing your story, because you went on this journey, and it was a long journey. Like you're 28, and you at 9 years old is when it kind of really started, probably.
Yes. Yes, exactly. So it was definitely long.
Yeah. Is there anything that I didn't touch on that I missed that you want to share with anyone that's watching?
Let me think. I'm trying to think. We touched on really good points. I don't know, just honestly, overall message is just to keep a positive mind, because people can tell me, and I've had people tell me, like, you've been through so much. It's just crazy that you're still able to kind of find the positive in things. But I feel like the type of world that we live in, there's so much hatred, there's so much negativity. Oh, it's so easy to point out the negative things in everyone and to be judgmental. It's harder to love. It's harder to be like, you know what? I understand what they said, but they didn't mean it. Or maybe they're having a bad day. Like it's so much harder to find the positive in just certain things. And I feel like that's what we need to do, though. That's what we need. The world needs more love. So it has to start from us, though. We have to love ourselves first, though.
Yes, because when you love yourself, when I love myself, we put out love. And then it's literally like, what's that saying where it rubs off? It rubs off. So you rub off onto me, I rub off onto you.
Yes, exactly. Yes.
So what can the BU community do to help you? What can I do to help you?
Honestly, I don't know. Oh my God. I don't know. I've never heard that question.
Yes. Because we're all about helping each other. Well, I know when to start. Go follow you.
Oh, yes, of course. Yes. Everybody, I always say it's not just a fitness journey, it's a life journey. I'm on a health journey, obviously, but at the end of the day, it's just a life journey. I mean, this is where I'm at this point in my life. I don't know where I'm going to be tomorrow, but I just want to make a positive change in other people's lives. And I feel like if I touch at least one person, I feel like my goals in life are being fulfilled. It's not always about money and about jobs. It's about how you touch other people's lives. And that's what I want to do, because I really do believe that I went through everything in my life for a reason, and I don't want to hide behind my story. I don't want people to not know what I've been through. No, I will put it out there. It is my story, and I'm going to share it because there's so many other people that I could help. And that's what I want to do.
Yeah. I call it the 3 Ps. Pain, passion, and purpose. You had your pain. We all have our pain. Yeah. We all have to find that passion and then our purpose.
Yes.
So that's why I think, when you touch one person, that's your purpose. Your purpose here is to just put off this love and inspire. So and then that one person goes and tells another person.
Exactly. So. Yes, exactly. So we're all here to help each other.
Yes. So everyone, please go show her some love. Spam her. I'm going to share her Instagram name, her YouTube name. More links will be in the description. And then also, like I said, if you have any more questions for her, please go ask her. She is more than willing to listen, to empower. And as we always say, be your own you and love yourself first.
Yep, exactly.
Bye. One last thing, guys. You wrote a quote, Trey, and it said, and you shared the quote. It says, "The sun is a daily reminder that we too can rise again from the darkness, that we can too shine our own light." Why did you share that, and why do you love that quote?
It's just going to sound so weird, but every day I wake up early. I wake up around 6 o'clock. I go and I open my blinds. I have a window right in front of my bed. where I directly see the sunrise. And it's so many beautiful colors. It's pink, it's purple, it's orangey. And to me, it gives me so much hope because there's another day for me to be alive. There's another day to wrong everything that I've done the day before that's been wrong, just to make everything right again, to tell people that I love them, to love myself. It's just a new day of hope. And when you're battling depression, you lose all hope. You don't know if you're going to see tomorrow because you're feeling so down, you're feeling so negative that, sometimes you contemplate suicide. So every day is a gift to you and you're a survivor. And so every day is a present. It's a present to myself. It's a gift to myself. And as corny as it sounds, I'm just happy to be alive.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. You are a survivor. I love that. We're all survivors. You wake up, you start the day, and you know what? If you can't see the sunrise or sunset from your window, jealous of you, then go find the sunset, go find the sunrise, or go look at flowers, do something, because that is true. Because whenever I see something pretty, or like at like a sunset, or even like a beautiful bush, I know that's weird, but I'm like, oh, wow, life is amazing.
Yeah, it is. I'm a very big nature person. So I love being outside. I love being in the trees. I love being on the grass. And it's my therapy to myself. So just find your therapy, whatever works for you.
Yeah. Okay, guys. Bye.